about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Hood.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here with Amy Hood. She is here on time, kicking things off with me. But we got one heck of a fun show today. So we got my boy Mitch Guthrie Jr., who is crowned king. That is king of the hammers. It's going to be fun to catch up with Mitchie. He's not even like 20 yet, Hood, and he's just like destroying everything. Like, I don't know.
I know.
I can see Mitchie in Monster Jam.
But he's also a super good kid.
Yeah, I can see Mitchie in Monster Jam sometime. Like, he's got personality. Like, he's just slaying it. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's one on the radar for Monster Jam in a couple of years. I think he could be a good fit over there. But that's
let's see what he can do when he hits a jump. That's the big difference.
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen some pictures of him out at Glamis. He did a full-on whip and a razor. It's like I'll text you during the break. Like it's like sketch, but it's so massive. But yeah, Mitchie's on air. Got some King of the Hammers, some Supercross to talk about. Our boy Ken Roxon got banged up a bit, and then. Hour number 2, this one is special. I very rarely do this, but over the weekend I tape recorded, man, that's like a throwback to the 80s. I recorded an interview with Bill Hines from UFD Racing, Stadium Super Trucks driver, took a win. But we had Chad Taylor from the band Live, that's right, one of the band Live from the 90s, Throwing Copper, one of the greatest albums of all time, top 100 charts of all time. He was on the line. We talked for almost an hour, and so I'm going to take up the entire hour number 2 of this interview. It's insanely good. It was only supposed to last 10 minutes, and it ended up lasting way longer than that. But that's coming up in hour number 2. But we're going to take a short break. Amy and I got a lot to talk about here in hour number 1 after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online in syndication on networks across the U.S. and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
And we're back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver and Amy Hood here. And thanks to everybody tuning in on Facebook Live. Got some listeners dropping in and out there. I guess that is kind of how Facebook Live works, I'm assuming. Don't plan on getting everybody for 2 hours. But if you guys got questions for Mitchie, King of the Hammers, shoot them over there on Facebook Live or on Twitter at JimBeaver15. We're streaming live in one place and then obviously taking questions on Twitter. But Amy, what are you up to? Like, I've got all kinds of crap that's happened. I was in NHRA this weekend. Like, you and I, sometimes we talk like 5-6 times a week, and like I haven't heard from you in like a week. So what's going on in your world? You there? I don't know.
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, I had you guys on mute just so you guys couldn't hear me sneezing and sniffling because I got a cold. But yeah, no, I've been really spending my last couple of days in the airport. I don't know if you've been watching my posts, but I've been dealing with delays and like nights over in hotels and just reroutes and delays after delays. And man, I'm finally back in California. I'm here for 2 days. I got a 2-day turnover before I head out to my next show. But, yeah, I mean, just living that Monster Jam life. And I officially moved to California now. I took over my girlfriend's room. And so I'm here permanently, and I don't think I'm ever going to leave ever. I just spent the last 2 weeks back home visiting my friends and family in Canada, kind of saying my goodbyes. But yeah, man, that's it. Like, we're kind of reaching our end point with Monster Jam. Like, we're halfway through our first quarter, and that means, you know, right around the corner is Monster Jam World Finals in Las Vegas. And I am freaking excited. I'm super pumped.
Yeah. And you're in on that, right? You're in because you took a victory earlier in the year, right?
No, they don't let us know.
Come on.
They like release it. I know. Well, they released who's going to make Young Guns. I mean, I have a good feeling. I have a good chance. I feel like I've been definitely progressing a lot this year. And just stay tuned, you guys. I posted a cool little video of one of my new nose wheelie tricks, and another one too of like my reverse wheelie with a 6 save. But I have another really cool one coming up that I got to get all my stuff approved before I can post it. But you know, I've been really mastering these 2-wheel skills, Jim. Like my progression in the Monster Jam trucks has just been, I think, like everyone's kind of commented it in the back, like my crew chief, a couple of the other crew guys, which, you know, means a lot. It means a lot that I go out there and impress my crew chief. Like that's, you know, I'm driving his truck that he's put together and I want to go and perform for him. And he's told me that he's really pumped and happy with how far I've come. And so, yeah, it's just exciting. Everything's good. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I saw you've been like trapped in airports and everything else. That always sucks. It just, especially when you got a short week, like makes it even shorter. I was out at NHRA. I haven't been to an NHRA event since like I was in high school, and it was pretty rad. Got some projects working that I can't talk about quite yet, but man, I went home and then I watch on TV and Brittany Force, who we had on air last year. who was the champ in Top Fuel. Man, she had a crazy crash. Looks like she's in the hospital. She's all right, but it's like with any like catastrophic crash, like things go viral, right? I guess it was like bumps and bruises, no like bad injuries. So I think she's going to be back pretty quick. But it's always scary, especially when you know one of our guests and you see something like that happens. But yeah, and then we got to talk about Roxon. What the heck? Like banged up Ken. Like this guy. Like I feel bad with Hood. Like he can't catch a break, can he?
No, not at all. But he'll be back. I mean, that's the sport, Jim. Like, I feel like the person who's been the luckiest out of everybody has been Ryan Dungey. But that's because he's very, we always talk about him being cool, calm, collective, very calculated. And that's why, you see him mid to end season finally turn up that dial, like Ryan Dungey's been like this fluke of nature who's like not had very many serious injuries. But look at everybody else in the rest of the field. It's not like it's a bad luck for Ken. That's just the name of the game, and that's why I drive a monster truck now with a roll cage and a 7-point harness. Honestly, it's because motocross is so hard on our the body, and just the risk factor is just growing and growing every year with how the tracks change, the competition increases, and your desire to win increases. It's too bad. I don't see how long he's out for. Do you know?
No, it sounds like it's not. I think he's going to miss at least a week. But it didn't sound like it's like a season-ending type of thing. I think he's going to miss around maybe. But I don't think it's going to be, super long. Like, I don't know. It's kind of a gray area. I know there was a lot of pictures posted and things like that, but yeah, no, I get it. It's like me, I've been toying with the idea. Like, I haven't owned a dirt bike in 8-9 years, like a real dirt bike. Like, I've got little pit bikes and stuff I fart around on, but I don't call those real dirt bikes. Those are just fun havers. But I've been thinking about getting one, and then it's like I almost pull the trigger, and then I'm like, I'd be smart about things. Like, I know I'm going to crash, and know I'm going to get hurt, and then it's going to be like I can't race and pay the bills doing. So it's like I've got this like double-edged sword here where I really want one, but it's like I'm trying to be smart and know, hey, I know I'm going to get hurt, and I don't want it to affect my other racing. So I don't know. I've kind of stayed away from it, but I don't know. I might get pulled back that direction at some point. I want a snow bike's what I want to do.
I'll always have a dirt bike in my garage.
Yeah.
I always will. But there's a difference between having that racer mentality and like riding for fun. And I still I don't think I'll ever be able to ride for fun. Look at my dad. He's 60 something years old and he still goes to these nationals and like tries to show off in practice. Yeah. I mean, he does. I mean, he slays it and wins plus 50 being over 60. But, he has that racer mentality where he can't just go out and enjoy it. He needs to go out and be the fastest that he personally can be. And, that's where I hate to say it, but stuff happens, and that's where, the danger factor lies in. And I couldn't even imagine, being on that elite supercross level, outdoor and supercross are it's like a category of its own. And I don't think there's any real sport out there, maybe, downhill skiing or, some, those moguls or whatever, but look how gnarly and how dangerous supercross is compared to almost any other sport out there.
Yeah, it's next level gnarly. Well, it just is. It's like you get injuries and football. I mean, it's pretty gnarly with the hits those guys take and things like that. But you're not flying through the air. You know what I mean? 30, 40 feet off the ground over 70-foot. Jumps and things like that. Like, it's just, there's nothing out there like Supercross where you're actually exposed to the elements. Like, ice hockey's pretty brutal too. But we're talking stick and ball sports. Like, I don't know, maybe, you know what? I've been watching the Olympics. I would say maybe like luge, or something like that, where those guys are going like 80 miles an hour and tumbling, but yeah.
Oh, God. But downhill skiing is very aggressive too.
Yeah.
There's lots that can happen in the mountains. It is very dangerous, and especially when they're hitting those big jumps like that. That is that's the underlying factor here. The room for error, in hockey and football and basketball. Where is the room for error? You got to jump too high and twist your ankle. You're gonna get hit in the face with a Gatorade water bottle. Like, what's the risk factor? You're going over these huge jumps with a 200-pound piece of metal between your legs. With 20 guys behind you. If you miscalculate an inch off a jump, you're looking at an injury. And same with obviously like those Olympic sports too. When you get the big, snowboard big air or all those, I don't know what it's called, like half pipe. Like where you go down and you hit all the jumps. I don't even know what that is, but go Canada, we're kicking butt. Mark McMorris, yes, you're the man. But the room for error in motocross and supercross is just unlike any other sport out there. And I think that's why obviously it takes the elite of the elite. But, people can't be surprised when you're faced with injuries all the time from our favorite riders.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. That's definitely for sure. But, we got to take a short break. And when we come back, we got Joe Duncan calling in hour number 1. We're changing it up. But such a busy show with hour number 2. Shifting gears. But we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And before we get to Joe Duncan and our Optimus segment. I got to tell you guys a little bit about our good friends at AMSOIL and something that they have going on. It is called the Ultimate Indy 500 Fan Experience, brought to you by AMSOIL, the maker of some of the best synthetic motor oils on the planet. And they're giving it away this spring. One grand prize winner will receive a trip of a lifetime to the Indy 500 to watch the fastest cars and best drivers battle to have their names etched alongside the greats like Foyt, Andretti, Unser, and Castroneves. But that's not all. You know what else awaits you? It's pit access, dinner with an Indy 500 legend, VIP track access, suite access to watch the race, a grand in cash, round-trip airfare for 2, hotel accommodations for 2 for 5 nights, ground transportation, and a chance to meet the drivers. Just like they do when they're making high-performance synthetic motor oils, AMSOIL went the extra mile with this sweepstakes. If that's not enough, 10 first-place winners will receive 1 free digital download code for Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game. To enter the AMSOIL Ultimate Indy 500 Fan Experience, text INDY, that's I-N-D-Y, to 41487. That's INDY, I-N-D-Y, to 41487. Or visit AMSOIL.com/Indy to get involved in the sweepstakes. And Joe Duncan, welcome to the line, my friend. This is Terracross Starts with Optimus from our good friends at Optimus Starters, starting every razor in the Terracross Championship. You're on the line with Amy and I, and in hour number 1, this hasn't happened in quite some time.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Doing well. Amy's been living in hotels. I've been out at NHRA and watching some Olympics, and I don't know. How about you, buddy?
I'm finally back at home, and we're getting after Terracross 2018 and 2019. Just racers and sponsors and locations, and we've already got track designs going and getting ready to book some equipment here for these event course builds. So yeah, things went from winter to summer really, really fast.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, because we're racing this year. We're racing at with Four Wheel Jamboree. So we're going to be in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indianapolis. What's, I know you teamed up with Family Events. I mean, you're talking about course builds. What are we going to see different this year, like from a fan and a driver perspective? I mean, we're going to have some massive changes in the courses this year, Joe?
Yeah, the great thing about the Family Events and the venues they're at, they're fairgrounds. They have wide open areas. We're going to have some cool, bigger course setups. Sometimes we're a little restricted where we're at, but this will open it up. It's going to add for some new features that we're working on, some sponsored features that have come into play, and we're really getting ready for some great racing action. There's going to be a little of everything we're going to be able to add in these courses, a little speed, our great tire section, some tabletops, a double, hopefully 2 of them we're going to have a sand section. So just the cool thing is, the guys over at Family Events, they know how to build courses. They know how to get everything prepped and ready. They already have the equipment. They already have the dirt. With our great builders coming in to work alongside them, we're probably going to have some of the best tracks we've ever had. And then you add in their crowds that they already have at the Four Wheel Jamborees. These events have been, 20 to 30 plus years in existence. So they have a huge crowd base and people that have been going there forever, and it's exciting to bring Terracross to their crowds. Their Jeeps and their trucks and their these off-road mudding vehicles, and we're going to throw the UTV Terracross rough, tough, and muddy action at them. And I think they're going to be pretty excited when they get to see what's coming and the athletes that are coming this year.
Yeah, well, and talking about that, talking about the athletes that are coming, I mean, what can you tell us about, some of the athletes coming in? Obviously, we know the usual suspects that'll be back, but who do you have, that you can talk about that you hear rumored coming in, or maybe, I don't know. How are we looking on athletes, Joe? Let's just put it that way.
Well, like you said, we've got our regulars that are looking at coming back. We got obviously yourself, and we've got Nate Wetzel. We've got the Lubergs, and we've got Addison, Nivel, and gasoline and hopefully more of that nitro crew that we've been talking to, and Ash Waskob, and just a great group of people coming back. We've got 2-time gold medalist in 2018, Brett Turcotte. We're working out his schedule right now. He's going to make all the events. And there's some 4 or 5 other X Games athletes that are in the talks with some of the guys from the Snowbike Best Trick, some of the guys from Snowbike Cross that really are looking for something more to do and more television exposure. So we got a really good group. We'll start announcing those probably in March and start laying out that. On top of the ones coming back and the ones that we know, there was a mailer that went out and email blast to the great people over at Family Events and their crews. And wow, did we get an amazing response of people that want to come and get involved and be a part of Terracross, and now working on sponsors with them and trying to put together package deals, and it's cool when we can bring Joe Average Racer and the celebrities and the top level racers all together in our different classes and really make that connection that anybody can go out and do this UTV racing. Anybody can jump in one of these and learn how to race and be competitive. With stock spec vehicles, it's fairly easy to do.
Yeah, well, and, case in point, we can talk about Amy here. I mean, she, the first time she went to, no, this is a good thing, but I'm saying, like, the first time you went to Heydays, like, you'd never even been in a Razor other than, 30 minutes at Levi's house, and you were competitive immediately, and then, all of a sudden, you'd been out of it for a couple years doing some Monster Jam stuff in your quote-unquote speedsters, and then you came and had a really good showing there at Elk River. So, I mean, it's... I think it's definitely, case in point that, a little bit of seat time, and I think you can, I'm not saying people can go out and win, but I think Amy this next year could. But, I'm just saying I think it's, I think it's one of those things where people can, it's a good stepping stone, I guess, if that makes sense, Joe.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And people can feel, you're right, maybe they can't win right away, but they feel competitive right away. Last year at ERX, we had seven people that had to fill spots due to the date change, and all 7 of those people right now, 6 of the 7 right now, are trying to get spots in Terracross. They're out securing sponsorships, but they had so much fun, and most of them the same thing. Had never been in a Razor, never been out on a course like that before, and now they're all trying to. They want to make this, part of their activities. They want to race Terracross. They want to, be a part of it. And they really like the fact that it doesn't matter how many years you've been doing it. It doesn't matter, if you have the best mechanics in the world. It doesn't matter, because when you show up, when you fly in, when you drive in and come and race Terracross, you're jumping in the same vehicle as the person next to you. Man, woman, child, doesn't matter. It's the same vehicle. So you're competitive right out of the bat. You don't have to worry about somebody knowing so much more about setup or so much more about tire prep. Everything's spec. Everything's identical in each one of the classes.
Yeah, well, and I got to ask you, and this is one of those things I was thinking about. I mean, we've got this new, I want to ask you your opinion on the vehicle, but then, may potentially possibly seeing it in Terracross, but the new RS1 single-seat Razor. I mean, what are your thoughts on that thing, Joe?
Well, we've looked at the Ace 900 in the past, which was really looking like something that could happen, but this takes it to a whole nother level. This is basically a race-ready vehicle, and it is set up. It was tested on a racetrack. It was brought to racing, so obviously a very easy fit, because we've taken just about anything and been able to put into Terracross to make it work. Now you take a vehicle that's kind of built for it, that's kind of a no-brainer that thing would work in Terracross.
Yeah, for sure. So, before you let you go, I gotta say, what do you think of King of the Hammers, Mitchy Jr.? Man, this kid is he's won just about everything, and I don't even think he's 21 yet, Joe. I mean, what are your thoughts on King of the Hammers and Mitch Jr.? Where do we think this kid's going to go? I know he's a veteran of Terracross. He's won events there. I mean, what do you think's next for Mitch Jr.?
Well, as you know, that when it comes to Terracross, I'm his father figure, legal guardian at Terracross when mom and dad can't make it. But how about him and his dad on the podium? What a cool situation. We saw the talent in Mitch, when UTV Underground and those guys first brought him over to Terracross, and he's successful at anything he gets behind the wheel in. And obviously his dad's had a lot to do with that, and his great sponsors, that have been behind him. And look at the people he gets to hang out with, RJ and that whole crew, and he gets to go ride and train and test with those guys. So pretty awesome to see Mitchie on top of the box there at Old King of the Hammers. That's one gnarly event.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate the time, Joe. Thanks for catching up, buddy, and we'll definitely do it again next week.
See you, Amy. See you, Jimmy.
Bye.
Take it easy, Joe. Bye. All right, and that was Joe Duncan with our Optimus Terracross segment, brought to you by our good friends at Optimus Starters. And we are going to take a short break. We come back. We do have the king, Mitch Jr. He is on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And I know we got to ask him. He called himself the Prince before because his dad was a two-time winner in the King. But we're going to see if the crown shifted over there at the Guthrie household. But we'll find out after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. And speaking of Polaris Razor, we got to welcome the king to the line, Mitch Guthrie Jr. How's everything going, buddy?
Hey.
What's going on, guys?
So,
how's it going?
I got to ask you, your dad was the king and you were the prince for a while, and has the crown shifted in the Guthrie household? Are you wearing that thing now? And I got to ask, how is that?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I've been trying to let everyone know they got to start calling me king now, but it's not catching on as best as I thought it would.
Yeah. Well, I guess and there's a point where you got to wonder, like, obviously, you won, and your dad was the winner, for a couple years, and he was like the king there in the UTV stuff, but he still got second place, so it's not like he's forgotten about. Like, the dude's still got massive, massive skills, So it's like, I guess it's cool when your best competition is your dad, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I always tell everyone, I still got to give it to him. I mean, he's won it 6 times out of, I think, 10 years now, so he's still the king in my book for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I know and how is that? Because he's got to give you crap telling you he taught you everything he knows, because you rode in the car with him there for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, I may have had a slight advantage. That definitely helped me out, but that whole type of racing, the King of the Hammer stuff, is it's crazy. It's a whole different style from any series. So it's pretty cool racing that one, and it's a lot of fun just with how different it is.
Yeah, well, and you're a desert guy. You're slaying it in the desert. Obviously you know how to win at short course. I mean, you've been solid in Terracross. How is that shifting to the rocks? Because, like you said, it's throwing everything out the window that you do all year long when you go to King of the Hammers. And they say there's desert sections and this and that, but we all know that the race is won and lost in the rocks. It's not in the desert stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's just so different. And I was talking to some people, and it's like, man, I really like doing this race once a year, but it's so brutal that I don't know how you could race that whole Ultra Force series all year round, because it just destroys equipment. It's a rough race, and it's the hardest part probably is during the race when you're going through the desert. Like you said, there's desert sections for say 60 miles, and then you come into the rock sections and you're going about 1 mile an hour. So it's so hard making that change from the fast pace to the slow pace for sure.
Yeah, you feel like it's funny, too, because, you're used to desert racing, and it's intense, man. We're always on it. You got to be paying attention, and this is probably the one part where you actually get to the desert sections and you can take a breather and relax for a second, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's like some of the rock sections have like a little desert in between them, and that's when you're not even going that fast through that stuff. You're just kind of regrouping, getting some water, all that good stuff. Because once you get in those rocks, you got to be so concentrated and just like hitting your marks perfectly wherever you go. So,
like I was watching the live stream and I didn't get a chance to make it out there, but dude, I was looking at that stuff and I'm like, it's really insane what these razors are capable of, because you look at that and I mean, it won't, like, it's almost unheard of. Like, you would look at it and go, yeah, I'm not going to take a razor over that. And then, here you guys are, you're racing over it. I mean, to me, like, it's just like the capabilities of razors and just UTVs in general, man. That's just like, it's mind blowing what you guys are going over. And I know like the Hammers rigs and stuff like that, like they're upgraded, but they're not crazy like our desert rigs. They're a little bit closer to stock. Not that they're stock by any means, but it's like, to me, it's just wow.
Yeah, exactly. That's one way that I explain it to people a lot, is you have to really go out there to the Hammers and like go on a rock trail and look at the obstacles we do. And that's when you really kind of say like, man, I don't really like, when I first started with my dad, we'd come up to some obstacles and I'd be like, there's no way we're taking our razor up this. And then the thing would just crawl right up. And that's how we did it this year. I mean, we winched one time and just pulled us off a rock we high centered on, but some stuff we were thinking, all right, when we get to this, we're going to have to winch. But once you're in race mode and you're in the race cars, the things just are insane. And that's, like I was saying, is the capabilities of them is is crazy because some of the trails we're doing that Ultra 4 cars are having problems with, we're not even winching on. So it's crazy to see how much they've changed, and the jump from like the 800s back in the days to the turbos are racing now, the times compared to Ultra 4 cars are getting pretty close. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing in desert though, right? I mean, I'm looking at the times in the UTV classes, and, they keep dropping down and they keep moving us up and in front of more classes. And like, it used to be like UTVs, they ran with the motorcycles, and then it was like, oh, we're just going to throw you in the back of the car and trucks because you're in the way and we don't want trophy trucks hitting you. And now all of a sudden, like, UTVs are sneaking into like class 10 and like 6,100 times. And it's like, I think people are starting to go, wow. Like, and it's like every year there's like massive leaps in speed too.
Yeah. Like you just said, that's what I look forward to every year, and like it's really cool working with Polaris on some stuff where, every single year new stuff is coming out and it's getting better and better, and it's like it's not small jumps. I mean, we're making leaps of progress from like we with King of the Hammers. It's been 10 years now, and we started in the 800 back in the day, and to jump to from however many horsepower those had to 160, 70 horsepower, 18 inches of travel. Like it's just insane how fast it's moving. And we always say it, but it just keeps happening.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if
we talk about it all the time, like the rate of progression with, the Razor is absolutely insane. But, then it gets me thinking, like, where is it going to go? Like, what's going to be next? Like, they always keep pushing that envelope and, make those huge leaps and bounds. It's not just small little, things they change here and there, but I'm just super excited to see kind of what comes every single year with the Polaris Razor.
Yep, and that's like I think a lot of people say it when they get in like a turbo. It's like, how could you get any better, faster, better suspension?
Yeah.
And you just think, oh, it's got to end somewhere, but it just doesn't end.
Yeah, well, it's like, and I know your car, like your desert car that you're winning in, it's what, 2 years old now, I think, and. Like when you built it, I know now the car that's sitting there is a bit different than the one you built. And I know like mine, I had, I did a few races last year. It was like this off season we went back and, in between Parker and now the Mint, it's like, all right, we're changing the cooling system. We're changing the steering system. Like there's all these things. And I'm like, this car like isn't even the same as the one we built a year ago. Like it's completely different. And it's like, but things are progressing that quick. And you've got to, if you want to have a competitive car, like you've got to just keep making those jumps, Yeah,
exactly. And that's like I love working with Polaris, and it's so cool to have factory support from them because the competition is just insane right now. The teams, the cars people are building, all of that put together is just like I'm sure the Mint this year is just going to be crazier than ever with probably over 100 UTVs racing. So it's just so cool to see how much support there is in the sport right now, and how high the level of racing is getting to.
Yeah, and and speaking of the Mint, I mean, coming back to it, last year you led that. Like, I don't know, like what has Mitch not won at this point, right? But like last year, you won that thing. You got the first spot, and then you were wire to wire, man. You had that thing in the bag. I mean, you feel like there's a big target on your back, especially now coming off Hammers and everything else you've accomplished. Like you feel like, man, we've got to bring our A+ game this go around.
Yeah, kind of, but I mean, like we do every race, we always bring our A game, so we'll be, doing the same thing when we get to Mint this year. So it should be fun. We'll see where we're in the draw this time, unfortunately. So hopefully we get something good and something we could work with. But I think we got a great chance of winning it this year again.
Yeah, well, and I got to ask, we've been talking about it the last week, had Ronnie Anderson on last week. He took a win in the new RS1. I know you were invited back there to Minnesota to do some testing in the RS1 and that competition. What do you think of this new rocket? I mean, like, you built a works car that was a single seat, like with an offset cage, like kind of center seat deal. Like, so you've kind of been familiar. Like, you had to build a car that was kind of like this right from the factory. I mean, what's your takeaway on this new RS1?
It really is a blast to drive. It's so fun. They shortened it up a little. The power's good. It like just the steering, everything about it. It's like a little race car. It's just a ton of fun. And when we got them all on the track, it's crazy. Especially when you have all these great drivers, going door to door. Like those things, you could just throw them in. They steer great. the one of the coolest parts that I love about them is you can see the front tires. So when you're like throwing it into a corner, you could like perfectly hit that edge on like the inside line and stuff like that.
Cool.
It's like the perfect race car for any racer.
Yeah, well, and here's a question. Go back to hammers, and I had this conversation with somebody last week, and I know some of the rock crawlers have gone to single seat at times and things like that. I mean, do you think like one of these next year at hammers? I mean, they're so light and nimble. It's a center seat. Do you think somebody's going to bring one of those? You think it'd be competitive at hammers?
Yeah, definitely. We were actually thinking about it this year, but we just kind of ran out of time. But yeah, it's a really cool vehicle, and I think that would be prime for climbing up the rocks. I mean, like I said, you could see the front tires, and you just look back and you'd see the rear tires. So if climbing up rocks would be awesome, and you have to have that like the main thing with that car is the agility and everything about it with the center seat, and that's a big part of the rocks is being able to squeeze through tight spots and pivot and do all these little things. So I think we'll probably see some of them next year for sure.
Awesome. Well, what's up next for you guys? Obviously the Mint 400, but and I know you're running full Best of the Desert calendar. We're going to see you at Baja at all, and how about short course? What's the plans for you guys this year?
Yeah, all the Best of the Desert. So we got the Mint next, and then might do some Baja stuff with some other teams, do a little driving, and just kind of get my feet wet down there. I'm hoping to do some of that in the future with my own team. And then no short course this year. Took on a little too much last year, and that didn't work out too well. But we're giving it our all in Best of the Desert this year, and hopefully could get a championship.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Tell your dad hey for me, and congrats on the win. Definitely stoked for you, buddy.
Prince no longer. Right. He's now the king.
Yeah, no, he's now the king.
I like to hear that.
Nice.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mitch. All right. That was Mitch Guthrie, Jr., your king of the hammers. And I don't know, Hood, man. He's I love Mitch. He talks good. He's just like so humble. Like, he has a good time, but it's, if you know him, it's just, he's just kind of giving people some crap is what he's doing right now. But
he's really smart, and it's really, really cool to see like, his young age with his, vast majority of, knowledge, I think. And obviously that it comes a big part from his dad being involved in the sport as long as he has been. And, his work with Polaris Razor, and I just think, for where he is right now, and being 20-some years old, I can't imagine where he's going to be in 5-10 years. Like I really think he's going to be kind of the part of the founding progression of the sport, and it's because he's a good guy. He's great on the track, but he's also amazing off the track. He's a very good representation of the Polaris brand.
Yeah. Well, and talking about parents and things like that, starting kids out young, I got to ask you. We only got like a minute left. Your dad actually commented on it. Did you see my Sunday Fun Day post? It was this little kid. He's like 2, and he's on a little like electric dirt bike, almost looks like a bicycle, but his dad made a starting gate in the backyard, and this kid's like revving this little thing up, and like the gate drops, and it's like the kid's got this massive helmet on, and then it's like delayed by like 10 seconds when the gate drops, and then he takes off, and I was like, this is like the raddest little video.
I know. I saw that video, and actually, like, one of my kids from my motocross schools who lets me borrow their track, their dad made the exact same gates, and they have a son and a daughter, and it takes them probably the same amount of time to get off the line. But I mean, it's great practice, and it's so cool. It shows the commitment from the parents too, making these homemade starting gates. But I love that. I love to see enthusiasm from both ends. Kid and parent coming together. Like, it's awesome. I love it.
I think your dad commented on mine. He goes, "Man, I wish I would have thought of that 26 years ago or something."
Hey, I was always good at hole shots. I'm a hole shot master, so.
All right. Well, we're going to take a short break. We come back. We got some King of the Hammers results, and we've got Bill Hines and Chad Taylor from the band live on air in hour number 2 coming up after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at ImpactRaceProducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Sanchez.
And I'm Susie Schuster. Get ready because each week Lauren and I are going to be talking about the biggest stories in sports on our new podcast, Locker Room Talk.
You've never heard a sports show like this one before. We're going to cover what is happening in the sports world with a flair that only women can bring.
Yeah, this is what we call real Locker Room Talk. Don't forget to download each new episode every Thursday.
You can listen to Locker Room Talk for free exclusively on Apple Podcast at podcastone.com and on the Podcast One app.
They gained international success with their Grammy Award-winning song, Heaven. See Los Lonely Boys with featured artist Lisa Morales. Live Saturday, March 24th on the Amphitheater stage at the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Gates open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7 p.m. General admission now $29. $39 the day of the show. Or VIP tickets only $59. Tickets on sale now.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water. Right on the money.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Just getting done with Mitch Guthrie Jr., your King of the Hammers UTV champ. And lots of fun catching up with Mitchie. Don't forget, coming up hour number 2, we got Bill Hines and Chad Taylor. Bill Hines, your Stadium Super Trucks winner from UFD Racing, and Chad Taylor from the band Live. They've taken up a couple of segments because I pre-taped it, and it is absolutely epic. But circling back to Supercross, I know we didn't it's a different show format today. We didn't get to talk too much about it with Amy, but Jason Anderson, El Hombre, taking yet another win. Man, he is on point this year. He's got a solid points lead over Justin Barsha. Marvin Muskeen taking second on that factory KTM, followed by Blake Baggett, Cole Seeley, and Brock Tickle. Your points, obviously Anderson out front, Bam Bam Barsha in second, Cole Seeley in third, Roxon in fourth, having some struggles with that injury now. Probably going to miss around, and Blake Baggett in fifth. And then looking at the 250s, it was Justin Hill with a win, Adam Cianciarulo in second, Chase Sexton in third, Joey Savacci and Shane McElrath, our good friend and I guess part of the Down and Dirty Radio Show family. Shane McElrath finishing up in fifth. It's Plessinger out front, Savacci and McElrath 1, 2, and 3 in those 250 point standings. And I got to tell you, it's been a fun Supercross year. Definitely not what anybody heading into this year expected. That's for sure. I know me being a big Supercross fan, it's no way that I thought that 2018 would go for sure. It's last year was that way, though. 2017, man. Nobody saw that going, and everybody thought Dungey was going to run away with it, and boom, it went up in smoke. Everybody thought Tomac was going to run away with it this year. Boom, that went up in smoke. Past 2 years, man, I got to tell you, it's been some of the most exciting Supercross seasons that I can remember. Definitely looking forward to each and every round. But I guess that's what Supercross likes, right? They get their hooks in you and get you coming back, man. But so Supercross wrapping up. I know we're heading to the East Coast at some point here soon, and going to kick off the 250 East, which is going to be something completely new there. So another whole championship built into Supercross. But we're going to take a short break. We come back. We got some King of the Hammers results. Bill Hines, Chad Taylor coming up after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right, we are back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Going to talk some King of the Hammers here, and we got Chad Taylor and Bill Hines coming up after the break in an epic three-part interview we're going to be airing in the next 3 segments on the show. You guys are going to love that. But King of the Hammers, man, 2018 UTV race presented by our good friends at HCR Racing. Mitch Guthrie Jr. taking the win there. Brandon Sims in second. Mitch Guthrie Sr. In third. So we got a couple of Guthries on the podium, junior and senior. Casey Curry finishing in fourth, and we had CJ Greaves in fifth. And I got to tell you, watch this one on live. The Greaves is Johnny and CJ, man. They were out front early and thought they were going to run away with it, and came back, circled back, and Guthrie's ended up taking the victory. But I got to tell you, 12 finishers. And I don't know how many starters there was, but it was just an insane amount of starters. I'm looking down the list, and but such a small finishing percentage. And it sounds like Hammers threw these guys, the UTV racers, an extremely hard course this year. And I think your numbers are coming back to show that with only 12 finishers. Just crazy. Then you look at, past that, you had the Everyman Challenge, which is one of my favorites because some of these rigs, I mean, obviously they're legit rock rigs, but they're not quite as extravagant as you see in the full-blown King of the Hammers race on Friday. But Dan Fresh with the Everyman Challenge win. Casey Gilbert, Jesse Coombs, got to give a big shout out to her, finishing up there in third. Jaron Gutner and John Lay finishing out your top 5. But then the big one, the Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optimus, and it was Jason Scherer with the victory. Eric Miller, Waylon Campbell. Got to give credit to this kid. He is impressive. He's been impressive in UTVs. He's impressive in Ultra 4. So young. You wonder what's going to come of his career, right? Especially with his dad's knowledge of the industry. I think there's big things to come from him. Josh Blyler and Raul Gomez finishing up your top 5, and Shannon Campbell 6th, Lauren Healy 7th. A couple of guys you thought you might see on top of the box, and finishing down there in 6th and 7th, having a few struggles. But a big shout out to Jason Scherer for the victory. And we're going to take a short break. We come back. It's Bill Hines, Chad Taylor with the band live, and Bill Hines, your Stadium Super Trucks winner. They got an amazing story. These guys are business partners too. Trust me, you want to hear this, and it's up after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
They gained international success with their Grammy Award-winning song, Heaven. See Los Lonely Boys with featured artist Lisa Morales. Live Saturday, March 24th on the amphitheater stage at the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Gates open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7 p.m. General admission now $29. $39 the day of the show. Or VIP tickets only $59. Tickets on sale now.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Got Bill Hines with United Fiber and Data Racing, Chad Taylor with Live. How's everything going, guys?
Pretty good. Great, brother.
Man, so
very well.
Yeah, I got to ask you guys first. I mean, I've had Hynes on air before. Chad, this is your first time on air. I know you guys are close friends. I know you guys are both from York, PA. How did you guys get linked up? I mean, how does Bill Hines, who's a racer and involved in these tech companies, and then you got Live, who, I say are one of the most influential bands of the 90s. How do you guys get linked up here?
So, Jim, interesting enough, racing is what linked us. So I owned a film company called Aurora Films for, maybe 15 years of my life, and had been producing both feature films and television shows with that company. And we had a mutual friend that linked us up about a potential television show that Bill Hines had been working on with Michael Andretti and Andretti Autosport. And it's basically through this mutual friend, just Bill and I, we hit it off. Interesting enough, we tried to work on the TV show and all those things, but nothing ever came of that. But what wound up happening is that we formed the Think Loud companies together and started to build those companies. Then eventually we worked on United Fiber and Data together. And now we have a media company, which is called YRK, which produces, media content like how we originally met. It all links back essentially to racing.
Yeah, that's the root of everything, right? So, yeah, and Bill, I mean, how did you, obviously I know you've got a story there, and then you've got UFD and things like that, but, have you always been just hooked by the racing bug? Because, I mean, it seems like all of us, right? We work so we can actually fund our racing habit. Is that kind of how it worked with you? I mean, how did this whole racing career, kind of spin off from these companies you've got?
Actually, no, it didn't happen that way, and basically, I didn't start racing until 2014, and it was actually I got into an argument with a CPA, and basically what they said was like, oh, I said, if you give me 2 weeks in the CPA booklet, I'll pass that exam. And they were like, oh, you think you could do anything? And I said, whatever I put my mind to, I'm absolutely going to crush. And Chad Taylor was in the room. He's like, yeah, he goes, the thing about me and Bill is that, when we put our mind to something, we go out and we do it, and so the person points to, we had a James Hinchcliffe, number 27 UFD IndyCar model on our conference room table. And they were like, well, if you think you could jump in a race car and go racing? And I was like, if I want to, yes. So from that, I signed up for Skip Barber, racing school, went to a 3-day program, then a 2-day program, and then all of a sudden I'm actually at the Long Beach Grand Prix, and I see EJ Vizo, who's a good friend of mine and Chad's, and racing in Stadium Super Trucks, and I see him, I'm like, that is just the coolest stuff ever. And he won, and so we run down to victory. Actually, he came in second on that one because Robbie Gordon kind of cut the track and cheated on that one, but we won't talk about that. But then we were in Detroit, and then he swept Detroit. He swept all 3 races in Detroit, all 3 of them. And then Robbie had his business manager there, and they wanted me to sponsor EJ at X Games, so I did. Me and Chad sponsored EJ for X Games, and we put live on the truck. And from that, I was like, EJ's like, Bill, I know you've been going to school and stuff like that. Why don't you try this? So I tested, and Robbie Robbie wouldn't let me get into a professional race until I could meet a certain time. He's just not putting anyone in the truck. And, I just kept working with Robbie Gordon and EJ Vizo at the time, and just working, practicing. And one day, I was like 5 seconds, 10 seconds off the pace. And then I just got frustrated. I went back, came back a couple of days later down to North Carolina to his racetrack, and then I absolutely crushed the time that he needed. And then my first race was 2014 at the Toronto Grand Prix. So I remember Michael Andretti is on his scooter. He comes up to me and he goes, whatever you do, don't hurt your right hand. And then that's the check signing hand for the sponsorship for Andretti. So that was kind of funny. So that's how I got into it. And honestly, I would always tell Michael, I don't get it. I never got it. Just like I don't get, well, actually I get it now. I would always say that to Chad Taylor, but, standing on stage, next to him while he's playing in front of 50,000 people, you feel that energy from the crowd. And, man, it wasn't until I got to Adelaide in 2015 for the first time, and there's like 300,000 people in the stands, and you can hear them in the truck, and you're like, okay, I get it now. So, when you have those big crowds like that and people are coming, I remember the first time I'm with Chad Taylor, somebody comes up to me and is like, hey, can I have your autograph? And I'm like, oh, you mean him? And Chad's like punching me. Just sign the damn thing. It's kind of funny.
That is funny. And it's funny you say that too, because the only thing I can put it in perspective, I mean, I've raced a lot, but a lot of it's desert racing and stuff like that. We get, a few fans and things like that. But you talk about that, and I had, Impact gave me some kind of crazy VIP passes for the Indy 500, and here I am in, the Andretti pits this last year, and I'm walking out on the bricks and everything else, and there's just, literally, this was qualifying weekend, and there's tens of thousands of people. We're not talking the hundreds of thousands show up race day, but you're there and you just go, wow, this is a big deal, and I can only imagine being on stage, playing in a concert, or it's got to be very much the same feeling, but it's pretty surreal once you finally get to feel that,
Yeah, I think it's crazy, and for the first time ever, really, I like to say me and Chad are going to share a stage in March, because live headlines the Adelaide 500 on Saturday night, and I get to race in the event Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with Stadium Super Trucks. So, and that's in Adelaide, South Australia. So it's going to be a great event.
Yeah. Well, and here's a question for you, Chad, too. I know you go into Australia and things like that. I did an interview not too long ago with Sebastian Bach from Skid Row, and he was saying, he's like, there's just a different feel when you go and play at Australia and some of these other countries around the world that you don't get in the United States. He says it's just like these rabid fan bases. I mean, do you feel like the same thing? You go to Australia and it's just off the chain?
Well, I will say this, that many of the markets in the world, especially, for me, what really stands out are the Latin markets, like playing in Brazil, and there's just something about people dancing and singing that, like they're, I guess, more free to move their bodies and to express themselves verbally. And then, of course, the Australians are cantankerous. Like, they're like, loud, rowdy. Sort of every Australian I know is Paul Morris in some weird way, shape, or form. Like, they're big and, anyway, there's just nothing like having an Australian audience sing back to you. It's insane. I've played in front of crowds down there where I've had a hard time hearing the band on stage because the fans are singing so loud. And, of course, this is going to be a really cool event to go down and to perform, have live. I think we're doing 3 shows in Australia. The one that's really standing out to me and what I'm so pumped for is to play the Adelaide 500 and be able to, watch Bill race on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And cheer him on. That's going to be tough. And then, of course, I've become friends with a lot of the racers in that series, so it's going to be great to watch them compete. And recently, I got a chance to drive a V8 supercar on a test track at Norwell Motorplex, and that's the first professional race car I ever got to drive. And I have to say I had a blast. It was an awesome time.
How was
and
the
he did
right-hand
really
drive?
good, too.
Yeah, how was the right-hand drive? If that's your first race car, your right-hand drive, you're shifting with your left, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
he missed a few shifts.
Funny,
Don't let him lie to you.
I adjusted to that really quick.
He did.
And then I was, fortunate enough to work with, a great instructor. And, very quickly we were knocking seconds off my time. And, by the end I was running, pretty close to pace on the track. And the instructor thought, that I had previous driving experience, which I didn't. But, I've been around race cars my whole life. I grew up on dirt tracks. My hometown dirt track would have been Hagerstown Speedway in Hagerstown, Maryland. And so they would race, late model stock cars and sprint cars down there. And this is before the world of outlaws and all that really stuff started happening. So it was all homegrown teams. And there was a driver named Tom Peck and my dad, and he was from the same hometown, McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania. And I got to, basically help. When I say wrench on the car, I was a tiny little kid. I would scrape mud off the car and all that stuff. But I was in the pits and around race cars really before I was around music. And so it was just in my blood. And now it's pretty exciting getting a chance to sponsor drivers like Bill and, say, Ari from The Bachelor and Paul Morris. All these guys are such incredible characters. And, we're just happy to support the sport. And then, the fans, the same fans that love live, love racing. Yeah. They're completely interchangeable, and it's one of the reasons why we got so involved in IndyCar and, of course, dating super trucks.
And we'll be back with more from Bill Hines and Chad Taylor after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance. performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
They gained international success with their Grammy Award-winning song, Heaven. See Los Lonely Boys with featured artist Lisa Morales. Live Saturday, March 24th on the Amphitheater stage at the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Gates open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7 p.m. General admission now $29. $39 the day of the show. Or VIP tickets only $59. Tickets on sale now.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water. Right on the money.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
And we're back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with my guests Bill Hines and Chad Taylor. Bill, we got to switch gears here, man. We got you guys on air because Chad posted up something about your win at SST. I know you did. I was going to reach out to you, and then you tagged me on Instagram. And I'm like, well, we definitely need to make this happen. But I just went back and watched like the main event there. Like, I know you won, but how the hell did you win? I'm still trying to figure this out. Like, a win's a win, man. Props to you, but how did this whole thing shake out?
I think everybody was trying to figure that out. Even the flagger, who thought I was a half a lap down and forgot to wave the white and checker at me, like he didn't know. He really is like, oh, that's just Hynes. He's doing what he always does, just hanging around the back, having fun back there, which is true. But so with this, in dirt races, short track dirt races, we employ a joker lap, okay? And really the way the series created the joker lap for is to create passing opportunities in really tight environments. So like when we were in Beijing or Valvoline Speedway and down in Sydney, Australia, these stadium races, it's really the person in the front of just, there's no passing opportunity. So these jokers allow you to get kind of clean air. They do it in GRC and some other series as well. So you get two jokers. One, you have the first half of the race, and the other, you get the second half of the race. So I used my first joker, my first lap. I started 11th, so I said, let me try to get out in some clean air and see what I could do. And then they had the competition caution, and I was saving. It's actually funny. I had my cell phone with me. I had nowhere to put it. I had nobody next to me. And Paul Morris is texting me literally as I'm gridding. And he goes, mate, take the joker on the second to last lap, before it goes to white flag. And I was like, okay. He goes, you could win this sucker. Just stay to strategy. He goes, there'll be carnage because everyone's going to go for it. And that's what I did. So I was waiting till the last possible second. I saw everyone peel off and take their joker, so I knew everyone had taken it. Then there was a late red flag, and at that time, only myself and Matt Brabham didn't take it. Matt then takes his on the very next lap. Then there's a yellow. So then I'm just licking my chops. I'm like, I know I got this. So, I'm sitting in ninth at that point, and, then the green flag goes, and I take the joker on the green flag lap, and then the white flag was supposed to happen, and they just, the flaggers just looking at me going around, and, if you see my onboard from the video, I'm like, screaming at them and giving them the finger, and like they ain't stealing this one from me. I worked very hard on this. So
it's been a couple of years in the making, right? Do you feel like it legitimizes you now?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? To compete in this series, and racing off-road trucks, I mean, listen, off-road trucks, whether you're in any of the other series or even with stadium super trucks, they're a handful. They're probably one of the hardest categories to drive. And to be able to compete with the likes of Robbie Gordon and the E.J. Vizos and Paul Morris and Matt Brabham and Sheldon Creed, these guys, in off-road and even on asphalt, they're absolutely legends. And, I remember doing an interview with CBS back in, actually it was NBC, back in 2014 about how I got in the series. And I said, I really want to thank Robbie for helping me and training me. And then I look forward to beating him one day. And everyone laughed at that, but it came true. Like, I legitimately beat everybody, and yeah, some people say it wasn't on pace, but I was under a second to everyone on the time as far as that. So I was close enough to where I needed to be that when something happened, I could take advantage of it. So, hey, part of racing is strategy. Like, we came in second in the 25 Hours of Thunder Hill with a team, of Roger Eagleton and Henry Morris, Renee Villeneuve, and Matty Brabham, and our car was probably a second and a half slower. We're going against BMWs and Porsches and all these cars, but yet we extended our fuel stops and stayed in the double stint. So some of us stayed in the car for 2 to 4 hours at a time, and we got second in our class. And people were like, "Wow, that was like the little 4-cylinder engine car that could." So I don't care how we get on the podium. If it's strategy or pace, just get on the podium, and that's what the sponsors like. And, got to keep Live happy. They're a rock band. They'll smash me over the head with a guitar.
I got to keep Live happy.
Well, the thing, in the past, in like Bill's first season in Stadium Super Trucks, he was always trying to get the sponsor brand out there by basically tilting the truck on its side and rolling over. So it would get extra camera coverage, but not for victory. So it's nice to see Bill rightfully in first place with the victory. This guy has worked so hard behind the scenes, and I think the other thing too is he's been so supportive all not only of Stadium Super Trucks, but all the drivers in the series. And I think that's I've never seen anybody root harder for a guy that's new to the sport to get a victory and get a win. And so, it's huge congrats to him. It's a massive moment. And I have a strange feeling that this is the first of many.
Yeah, well, you know how it is. Once it rains, it starts pouring, right? I mean, it's like you get the monkey off your back, and then they start rolling in, more podiums and more wins and things like that, So, and hey, you're the points leader right now, right? I mean, one round down, and you're the points leader in 2018. Like, that's probably not a position you thought you'd be in coming into the new year, right?
No, I mean, actually driving into the, I was talking to a few people, and actually, Ari Lyondike Jr., the kissing bandit, the bachelor, whatever you want to call him, my teammate, we did test him for herpes, so he's clean. Anyway, you can say that on terrestrial radio. Yeah. Anyway,
I love Ari. He's a good friend of mine. Him and I text all the time, so
he's awesome.
It's all good.
Oh, yeah, me too. So, I was talking to everybody, and I said, listen, I really feel like I can win a race this year. I said, actually, another person I work with a lot is Alex Prima. He's the French driver, and he works at EXR Racing Series and Exotics Racing in Las Vegas. So you want to have a blast. For entry level, like Arrive and Drive, the Exotics Racing program they have over there is just phenomenal. And, Roman Thieven and David Paraset run that place, and they've worked with me along with Alex and Tristan Vautier, and getting me just smoother in the car. So they would say, Bill, man, my biggest problem was on the brakes, so I guess king of the late breakers, as Paul Morris would like to say. And I would burn up my brakes too much, I was always on them, and they've really worked hard with me. And they would put cameras on my feet, they were like, what are you doing down there? We just don't know. And and just everyone that really works so hard to work with me, I appreciate all of those guys. So, hey, how did Paul Newman learn how to drive? He took a 4-cylinder Datsun, had instruction by Mario Andretti, and then when he went to the bigger V8 stuff, So, so that EXR series, has really helped me out a lot. And, I'm going to continue to do it this year. I won the actually endurance championship in that series as well. So I do have some other victories, but, none were as prestigious as, the second place is, the 25 Hours of Thunder Hill. That was a really good team effort. And then also, obviously, my first Stadium Super Truck win, I'm definitely, I feel like Cal Naughton Jr. in Talladega Nights. Like, it's a technicality, but it really wasn't a technicality. But, you ain't taking it away from me. I'll punch him in the mouth. So.
Well, and from a brand perspective, I got to ask you, about UFD because before you even started racing,
Sure.
I remember seeing it in IndyCar with Andretti and all over the place. And, how has that been from a brand standpoint? Because you guys are, I know you've sponsored, many Stadium Super Trucks drivers, some events. Obviously you've got your involvement with Andretti. We saw you at the Indy 500 last year. How has that been to help grow the UFD brand?
Well, currently, I'm going to take the first part of it, and then Chad will take the second part of this question. Currently, we have 5 drivers in Team UFD. Jeff Hoffman, a young kid out of Arizona. Gavin Harlan, another young kid out of Arizona. And those two, I think they'll be vying for the championship along with Ari and, Paul Morris. I don't think my time at the top of the standings will last too much longer, but I'm going to enjoy it as it is, as being the current point leader. But yeah, when we first started in 2013, started with Marco Andretti, and we really believe in Marco, and we still do, and he's a phenomenal driver. And we did a primary with James Hinchcliffe, and so we've been with Andretti since 2013 and in different size capacities. And, what says speed, what says technology, better than racing and the IndyCar series, and that's why, United Fiber and Data, we were looking for something unique, something different, something that wasn't that old corporate stuffy, type of industry. So IndyCar really was something that related to us, and we loved racing, and really the B2B component. Just looking at IndyCar paddock, you were there at the Indy 500. How many Fortune 100 and 500 companies did you see there? Tons. And we were able to, Michael Andretti is able to take us hand by hand, and hold us our hand and give us a warm introduction to these, corporates, these CEOs, these decision makers who are out there buying fiber and data center services. So with that, Chad, do you want to add to that?
But, I think it's, especially with a telco company like United Fiber and Data, it's, we don't have a tangible product in the sense that, it's, a beer bottle or whatever that you can put in front of someone. It's, fiber optic cable that's stretched currently all around Manhattan and headed down to Ashburn, Virginia. And so one of the things that happened is that racing opens up this incredible experiential marketing opportunity where you can take the clients that you want to win over to an event, and it's a fan-friendly, family-friendly event, and it has an edge to it, just like we did as the founders of the company. There's an edge to us, and so we really could see that. First of all, that it looked exciting from the outside, and then when we got involved and we saw our clients' excitement, it was a win-win-win. Literally, our 1 + 1 = 3. And so now we're passionate about the support. And, of course, thanks to Bill's help, we've spread our wings and gotten into Stadium Super Trucks and EXR. And it's just been phenomenal.
And we've still got more coming at you here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with Chad Taylor live and Bill Hines of UFD Racing after this short break. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All right, we're going to wrap things up here with Chad Taylor and Bill Hines, two of my amazing guests today. But before we wrap things up, I got one question for you, Chad. Before we went on air, you were saying you're really good about not slipping up and saying four-letter words when you're, on AM, FM, and terrestrial radio. And I got to ask you, because this is going to get bleeped when I say it, because before it goes nationally. But how the hell do you refer to your song "Town" without saying it when you're on terrestrial radio?
I think on that one you just got to say the name. You just have to. Town. I have to tell you, that song is, I think every young person in the world at some point, I don't care if you're from Manhattan or Los Angeles, or Chicago, that you've had, some feeling that, the town that you were in, that you just need to get out from it and spread your wings and get to someplace else. What's so interesting about that song is I never expected to come back home. I never expected to be back in my hometown. But we've built United Fiber and Data and the Think Loud companies all here in our hometown, and we're employing people left and right, and we're watching the companies grow and thrive in this town. When we announced that we were bringing the companies here into York, of course, the very first question I got asked, I need to set this up by saying at the time my singer, Ed Kowalczyk, my childhood best friend, wasn't in the band. And there was a reporter that said, well, here you are basically back in this town, like, or do you still town? And I basically had to throw it away and say, well, actually, my singer wrote that song. I'm like, go ask him.
He's not in the band anymore.
And, of course, what's so awesome is that Ed is back in the fold. He's back in the band.
Yeah.
2017 was all about, reuniting. 2018 is going to be all about new music and lots of tour dates. And I got to tell you, the relationships inside the band, like the 8 years off that we had, literally just made us stronger than ever. I was just in New York City shooting photographs with the guys the other night, and classic, when most people are done their day at work, well, of course, we headed out to a bar. And I'm telling you, I think it was 5 a.m. Ed and I were walking literally in the middle of Broadway in New York City. And, well, anyway, I will just say that one of us fell down in the middle of the street. It wasn't me, but like it's like old times. Like we're out having a blast. The new music sounds like that. It sounds refreshing and re-energized. And honestly, I can't wait to tell people about new shows that we have coming up and get some of this music out to people.
Awesome. Yeah,
ton of new shows. So, Jim, you'll have to come out to a show.
Yeah.
We'll give you some backstage passes.
That'd be rad. I'd love to come out to a show. I mean, like I said, Throwing Copper, that album, I mean, it was, like I said, when I was in high school, I mean, that was, I don't know one person who didn't own that album, right? I mean, it was, I call it one of the definitive albums of the 90s. I mean, it's just an amazing, still this day you can listen to it, and it's still, the songs are just, amazing. So I would love to come to a live show sometime, be so
Well, you want to know a tidbit about that?
Yeah.
You want to know a tidbit about the Throwing Copper album? It's in the top 100 selling albums of all time. And don't believe me, it's on RIAA.com, which certifies album sales. So when people... because, it's funny, the drummer always says, Chad Gracie, the drummer, was like, man, I wish Google was around. We were naming our band, because when you put live in, you get, so many different things up. And he goes, we couldn't Google it to, find a name. And, live is like the silent assassin. And they're a tremendous band. And there's a reason they're called Live. When you go to a show, and that's why their fans are called Freaks, the Freaks for Live. And, they're just an amazing band live. I mean, they sound just like the album live, and they're really singing. So if they mess up, they stop it, and Ed will say, hey, at least we're playing live. And, there's no auto-tune or anything. The guys are playing their instruments. There's no Milli Vanilli. Believe me, I asked them to do that. I said, put me on stage with a microphone, pretend I'm singing, or guitar. I could be like another drummer or another bass player or something. And they were like, no, Bill, just stay there and take some Facebook Live videos for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got to put you on the spot. Earlier you said if you put your mind to anything, you could do it. But singing, that's probably where you draw the line. Like you might need quite a few vocal lessons to make that one happen.
Listen, I've actually been, so we have a recording studio here in 210 York Street. It's a phenomenal recording studio that Chad Taylor runs and operates. So even if bands want to come in and play, they can hire him for that stuff. And listen, I've had the luxury of seeing so many bands and so many musicians come in here and try to write music and stuff. And for the 8 years that Ed was gone, Taylor would get so frustrated with different people and be like, man, if Ed was here, Ed would have just he would have out, and 10 albums by now. And sure enough, that man is a pro. Like him and Taylor and the guys working together, like the guy can write. The guy can, he plays his instruments. He can sing. He's got pipes. I mean, when all said and done, I mean, this band will be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame one day, and Ed Kowalczyk will come down as one of the great frontmans of his time. Like he is just. I mean, wait till you hear the new music, Jim. Man, I wish I could send you some of it, but Chad will kill me. It gives you goosebumps. I mean, the band is back. I mean, and
awesome.
You got to say, and for me. Coming from Nazareth, PA, Chad Taylor and convinced me to come to York, PA, and I was even like that, like, go to town? Like, what are you talking about? But that's why we, decided to join forces and come here. And, not bad from a kid that came from a single mom who raised us being on welfare. And, we didn't have money to go to school. I had to go to the military, spent a lot of years in the military, Desert Storm veteran. And so shout out to all the veterans out there that come from poor families, man. You use that as a vehicle to get you to a better place in your life, and you put your head down and use that discipline you learn from the military. You can achieve anything you want in the world and do anything with your life positive, So shout out to all those men and women in the armed forces that protect our way of life still. So kudos to them, and I look forward to them, and welcome to seeing them all at the live shows or at the races. So come up to us and say hello. We really love you guys and girls.
Definitely. Well,
amen, Bill. Amen.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. And I appreciate both you guys taking the time. I know you guys are busy. Thanks for phoning into the show, and we'll definitely, we'll definitely have to catch up again soon. We had a lot of fun today.
Thanks, awesome. Jim. This was awesome.
All right, thank you guys. Man, talk about a a rad couple of guests, and like I said, that was no BS, right? I mean, I'm looking back at the 90s. First off, props to Bill Hines, one for the business he's created and and what he's come from, but his first Stadium Super Trucks win, it's legit. It's no joke, not an easy feat. But going back to the band live and Chad Taylor, like having him on the show, and we're going to air this thing completely uncut, uncensored, on Project Action this week. So definitely go over to iTunes, subscribe to Project Action on Podcast One, because you're going to get the full thing uncut. There's a little bit that we had to cut out. Obviously, a ton we had to bleep. We'll just run it all the way through on Project Action this week because it's worth that listen. But the band live, like seriously, when I was in high school, that thing came out mid-90s, right? You tell me one person that didn't own Throwing Copper. Obviously we've got Bleep Town, but Lightning Crashes. There's just there's so many songs, and that's one of those albums, one of the rare albums that comes through and it's got like 10 really good songs on it. Most of them nowadays, 1, maybe 2. That one, literally, you could listen to it start to finish, and it was just that good, right? And to have live on the show, like, that's one of those, like, high school me is like, all right, high five. High five today. But just some rad dudes, Bill Hines, Chad Taylor. Stoked to have them on, and we definitely ought to do more with them. But UFD Racing, United Fiber and Data, like, seriously, you look at what they're involved in. I mean, the tech's crazy. They ran, like, fiber optic lines under the Hudson River. Just the amazing tech that they've got going on, but super involved in motorsports. Obviously, Stadium Super Trucks sponsored the event at Watkins Glen. They sponsored Sarah Price, obviously Bill Hines, Ari Jr. The list of drivers they help out, but Marco Andretti and IndyCar, EXR, that series, like, they're highly involved in motorsports. So it's really pretty rad to see them, kind of give back to the motorsports community and stuff like that. And Bill Hines just, he's right there. He's involved, man. He eats, sleeps, breathes motorsports, loves it, and just some rad people to have as guests on the show. So, much appreciated that they took the time to do that. I know we've had some Facebook Live, stuff rolling in, questions and listeners, and some of you guys may have missed some of the guests tuning in late, but thank you guys. We're going to start doing that every week, so hopefully you guys like it. It's just something a little bit different. I keep getting asked, are we going to do video stream? If Amy and I were in the same studio together, we probably would. But, like, seriously, you guys don't just want to see my face. So it's like I got a face for radio, right? You definitely don't want to be looking at it. I don't know. We'll keep doing the audio stream. As far as the video, I don't know. We'll see about potentially some point bringing it in. Maybe we'll keep that special for when I do have her in studio or some rad guests in studio or something like that. But thank you guys once again. We're going to have Hynes and Taylor. That interview will air on Project Action this week, uncut, dropping this Thursday on Podcast One. Go over to iTunes, subscribe to that, and while you're there, Down and Dirty Radio Show, we're on iTunes as well. Maybe you missed a live show, missed it nationally. Go and hit the subscribe button for the Down and Dirty Radio Show there as well. Lots of fun stuff coming through there. Not only do you get the national show, I drop some other stuff in my feed here and there, my RSS feed, so you'll get that if you subscribe on iTunes as well. Been a fun show, man. We got to take a short break here in a minute and wrap things up. But epic good times with Bill Hines, Chad Taylor, Mitchie Jr., man. You want to talk about a kid just slaying it, absolutely destroying the competition in pretty much everything in a razor: short course, terracross, desert racing, king of the hammers. You got to wonder where this kid's going to be in off-road racing in the next 5 years, You would hope that some short course team gives him a ride, or, a big sponsor comes in, lets him move up the ladder or something. Obviously, there's a lot of guys making careers at racing UTVs now, but I don't know. I think there's more there with Mitch Jr. But we're going to take a short break. We come back. We're going to wrap things up here on this edition of the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
All right, we are back here on your favorite motorsports radio show, wrapping things up. We are the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And before we do, got to make a little bit of announcement. We didn't get a chance to talk to. Had a lot of guests today, and not a lot of rambling talk. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But our boys at the Mint 400 re-announced the Miss Mint competition is coming back. That's right. Took a year or two off, and Miss Mint is back for 2018. And I know we got like 20% of our listenership is ladies. A lot of that is due to Amy Hood. But I got to say, man, this is different. They're wanting somebody organic that represents the off-road community. And they're actually, in 2019, if you win the 2018 Miss Mint, you're getting a ride, or you're getting to drive in the 2019 Mint 400 and one of the 01 Odyssey cars. So, like, how rad is that? You win Miss Mint, you're actually racing in the race the next year. So, I don't know, you ladies tuning in, man, head over to themint400.com and get in on that. Like, seriously, get to race in the Mint 400. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't get much better than that. So, yeah, Mint 400 coming up. Daytona 500 this weekend. We don't talk much NASCAR on the show, but I don't know. Maybe we'll We'll talk a bit of that next week, depending on what happens. Supercross, obviously locked and loaded there. You can give me a follow. It's at JimBeaver15 on all social media. Amy is at AmyHood71. Don't forget to subscribe to Project Action as well as this radio show over there on iTunes. And use that coupon code JBDirtfish for 15% off at Dirtfish Rally School. Got to give a big shout-out to our friends at Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, Vision Wheel. Check them out, man. We're going to be doing a lot with Vision Wheel this year. KC Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Impact, Optimus, Terracross, Blue Resort and Casino. And also, you're going to hear a lot welcoming a new partner to my programs and the radio show, Moto Shield Pro. Got some amazing products. We're going to be talking about those. I've actually been using their stuff for 2 years, and now I'm actually part of their family. So some rad stuff that protects just about anything. So we're going to be talking Moto Shield Pro next couple of weeks, and I'm going to be telling you about their unique products. But thank you guys for tuning in each and every week. I appreciate it. You keep us in business, man. You keep us doing this each and every week, and couldn't do it without you guys. So I don't know. Like I've always said, hit me up on social media or use a contact form on my website at downanddirtyshow.com if you got any guest suggestions, ideas, or input to the radio show. But we're going to take I guess we're going to sign off here and not take a short commercial break. We'll be back next week. Be safe. As always, game on.